Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wano deck deep dive as we're going to cover the second guard's Motost division. But before we jump into it, a really quick shout out to two tournaments. First one is this Sunday, the Wano Terrible Division tourney, in which you build a deck that is as bad as possible, because the twist is you don't have to play it, your opponent has to, and you will play the opponent's terrible setup. And there are only two rules. You can find it all in the link down below. It's a one-day tournament, Swiss format, just for funds, and just trying to get as terrible as possible with the Wano deck builder. And I will play in it as well. And then next to it, we will have the Wano League Season 6 coming up at the 19th of January. Sign up still goes till the 15th, and we have a good number of signups already. So yeah, if you want to play in it, no matter your skill level, everybody will have a good time here because we have 4 different skill sets in the league. So if you're a top ranked player, sign up. If you're new to the game and want to get into 1v1 gameplay, sign up as well. So see you all there, guys. And yeah, you can find the links down below. Let's get into the action here with the second guards as we start in the logistics step. And this is a fantastic logistics step. We even have a 2-cost slot still open, and there are a really good amount of good supply options here. You also get 3 availability CVs here with the Chaika, with the Belodor, so you easily can fit good stuff in here. And the Infantry tab is a really good one as well. And this is where we get next cut of CV, final one in the tank tab, so a classic 7 CV setup, so that you don't really lack anything. And I must have misclicked that, because what we start here with here is the IV part of this deck. And this deck is really fantastic in its all-rounder setup. It doesn't have any super cheap units, but it has decently affordable mid-tier units, and it is flexible in its infantry, for example, coming in IVs or good APCs with the BTR-80. The BMP-2 here coming around with a good amount of firepower, with a good ATGM, and we take them at max vet here, so that the BMP-2 itself gets as efficient as possible. Autocannon getting more accuracy, dealing a good more damage, ATGM as well, and the Quality inside also get more efficient. So 8, you pay a lot for them. You usually only will use 8 of those. Then the other infantry comes at 1 vet. But it's the SVD, really good as an opener to deal with other infantry units. The Periapio, fantastic in CQC engagements, and the Metis here, really good at dealing with light vehicles, so pretty good in the opener as well. 2 cards of ATGMs, and the currently really good Lamias that are just fantastic on the defense, and that also won't change in the next patch, so the grenade launcher is still gonna stay top of the food chain. And yeah, with enough ATGMs here, you really can set up nice defenses. And the artillery is a solid tab, not a great tab, but 2 Acacias on 1 vet here give you a decent amount of firepower. The mortars, not absolutely necessary. You could, for example, take another logistics or another helicopter card, but if you like smoke mortars, and there are a lot of good reasons to do so, to like play on corners of zones in the late game, or try to split enemy armies into 2 pockets. Those guys are a good bit better than Acacias for smoking, so using them here is nice. The Acacia, with the veterancy, also getting a good bit better aim time and reload time, and also slightly better rate of fire, so that the second shot lands faster, so that's why we take them at 1 vet, because the cost efficiency goes up a lot when you take artillery at 1 vet. Tanks are fantastic as well. There are some arguments for the repair on the BRDM, but with enough ATGMs and MP2s in the infantry tab, I feel like the focus here should be on tanks, and so far that worked out quite nicely. And what we get here is the TADU OBR 89, but this one we will only take in the late stage of the game. Usually, for the most time, you're gonna play with the T64Bs, and the T72 is OBR 84 especially. This one is an absolute beast. And currently a bit too cost efficient. The 18 frontal armor on the 200 point tanks is fantastic. Like, this thing can tank a lot. You still have to push a bit closer, but with veterans you also get decent accuracy. You still have an autoloader on all of these. Your rate of fire is a bit lower than on the T80 and T64, but still decent enough, and you still get good MG firepower out of this as well. Whilst the CV tank here has smoke for 180 points and has a good gun as well. Lower range, but the smoke is important, and it can survive a couple of tank shots. It can't survive an airplane ATGM, which is a bit of a weakness, but for 180 points, that still is absolutely fine. And yeah, the T64s on higher veterancy here coming around to help out a bit more with sniping and using the ATGMs and all. Um, you usually won't use up more than the 14 tanks that you get here. So the bringing those at 2 wet here makes sense, as you will not use this tank all that much, but if you use it, you want it to be as efficient as possible. But on the other side, you will use more than 4 T60 72, so that's why we take them at 1 wet. Recon is a good tap as well. You get a BRM-1K, which is important with the tank pushes. You get a Me-24K, which is important for a division that doesn't have any forward deployment, to be able to threaten enemy forward deployment setups in some scenarios. Not in all maps it's useful to bring this, and not in all matchups either. When the enemy has good forward deploy AA or really good aircraft, you usually don't want to bring it, but in some matchups this can be a really key unit to disrupt the enemy opener, and it's worth bringing it for that. And even in the late game, it's a decent rocket and anti-infantry helicopter here. Also good for spotting enemies in your rear for your bombers and so on, so still pretty helpful. The Spetsnaz here, fantastic little unit with the Retretka BTR-80 coming around, having 8 hit points, having a decent RPG, and having GSR. The firepower of it is not that great for a unit like this, but the GSR and the 8 hit points plus AT are still really, really good. Motost in a decent spot as well. They will also not change in their price next patch, because they will get 5 points cheaper. BMP 1P will go up 5 points though, so in the end they will stay at 90, but that is totally fine as well. And they are a pretty good unit together with the BMP 1P as well. You could argue for the Vachetka Saperi next patch when they get 5 points cheaper as well in the BTR-80, but it's not the Vachetka BTR-80, which is a bit of a shame. And also these guys are just not bringing AT, and you usually want to have AT on your Recon, so I'd rather take the Motost currently still. AA is somewhat limited in slots, but what you get is actually pretty good. And we have two wet OSAs here in for the opener. The extra improvement in aim time and accuracy here pretty important, so we take them at 2 wet. 1 wet OSA here for getting a bit more availability, so that you have 5 of them, so that you can take a loss or 2 and still have some around. And the Biosa as a good unit to push with your armored pushes, to deal with helicopters, to also have a bit of firepower against infantry, and be the finisher against planes as well. When the OSAs get 1 hit, users can finish off 8 hit point planes really reliably, and 10 hit point planes still quite well. So that's why we bring those guys around. The accuracy on these pretty solid here as well. And the helicopter tap is 1 Me-24V. You don't usually need that many of these guys. They are still pretty nice to have one of in case the enemy has a breakthrough somewhere or doesn't have AA, and you can exploit them and force the enemy to bring out AA. And yeah, if you want more of them, you can switch out the artillery, the either Samakatsuya or the mortars, but in my eyes, 1 Me-24V in this deck usually is enough. The Me-8's not really worth it in this deck, even though currently at 95 points, they're at an okay spot, but the Me-24V here is the way to go with the core missiles to deal with some recon vehicles that push through or stuff like that. So, really nice little helicopter here. And then the air tap, and the air tap is pretty functional as well. You don't have long range AA, so you need good fighters, but you get good fighters. You get the best MiG-29 in the game with 40% ECM and a good amount of missiles. MiG-23P is pretty good and cost-efficient plane as well. Pretty good missiles and only 175 points, and this way you get 6 fighters, and then the bombers you get are pretty decent as well. MiG-21 can both come around when you know the enemy doesn't have the best AA setup yet, and if the enemy invests too early into tanks, you bring a cluster bomber and finish that off. If the enemy brings some annoying little ATGM units or so, and you know you can push through the spot if you kill it, then the MiG-21 BIS can be the accelerator of a push. Those bombers coming in quickly and usually doing their duty. So those MiG-21 bombers here, fantastic little finish off, and this deck really kind of brings it all. The pros and cons. The pro is a really good combine arms and a fantastic mix of tanks. Like the tank tab mix is one of the best in the game, and on top of that, I would also say the high-level infantry, especially for Soviet levels, but with the extra Resolute for free, the free Resolute really helping out these guys a lot. So that helps out second guards by a long shot here. Guardizi here doing a really good job. So good infantry and a good tank mix here next to a solid combine arms are the strengths. Weaknesses, the lack of long range AA is one. The lack of forward deployment obviously is the other. And the lack of cheap reservist units. Like sometimes, it's not quite as bad as with 37s, but sometimes you would like to have just that slightly cheaper unit on the sideline to hold the enemy off. And you don't quite get that here. But in general, that is not the end of the world, and this deck is really powerful at the moment. And it likely might need a nerf or two, like 1 or 2 slots make made more expensive, 1 or 2 1-point slots. I feel like might be the way to go, but we have to see. We haven't seen it much in competitive play yet. It seems to be pretty good, but yeah, it also is not that special. It doesn't have that one big strength, so it feels like a good first pick division. Not so much a great counter pick against anything, so we'll see. It's a good division to have around for sure, and I like the flavor of it. And yeah, we'll see how this division will go in the future. Let me know down below what you think about it, and see you all in the next one.